ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Hari Om everybody. So today we start another beautiful chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is chapter 10. We studied chapter 7, in which Bhagwan explained his para and apara prakriti, Jiva, Ishvara, Jiva and Ishvara. And then he said, I am beyond that. I am Turiya. I am the substratum for both Jiva and Ishvara. Also, he, in verse 2, he 2 or 3, not 3, 2 or 4 maybe, he says, I am Sutre Manigana Iva. I am like the thread which is holding all the beads or the gems or the pearls, whatever, money. And then he went on to explain the sutra. In that chapter, he explained the thread. So he explained the essence. He gave us the Drishtanta Purnima, if you remember. There were 15 examples that were given where he says, you have to see me in the sapidity of the water, in the intelligence of the intelligent people, the strength of the strong, the light in the sun, light in the fire, that way. So the essence, look at the essence. That is what he explained to us in chapter 7. He explained the sutra. Now, to understand, to go to the essence requires a very mature mind. It requires a highly evolved, purified mind. Otherwise, it is not very easy to understand those things. And that's why he now proceeds in chapter 10. He understands that not all people are at that level to understand the sutra. So in chapter 10, he is now going to explain the money, the gems. So what basically he's trying to do is, for those who are not very evolved, those who are extroverted, you are seeing the world. What is happening in that necklace of beads? We see only the beads. We never see the thread. Okay. But those who are evolved understand that it is because of the thread that the beads are being held in place. If the thread was not there, the beads cannot be held. It cannot be a necklace. The beads will spill, right? But then if the person is not very evolved, then his attention is only on the beads. Like we have given you the example, a woman walks into a jewelry store, her attention is only on the form of that, of the ornaments. Oh, this necklace is good, that bangle is nice. But if a jeweler, if a goldsmith only walks in there, he's going to say, oh, no, but the gold in the necklace is way less than the gold in the bangle. So his attention is going to be on the gold, because that is where he's focused, whereas the woman is focused on the form. So most of us are focused on the form, because it's easy. You see the form, you get focused on the form. So now what Bhagwan is doing is, okay, you are focused on the form, right? You see me in the form itself. This is what now Bhagwan is doing in chapter 10. So if you're not evolved enough to look at the essence of this world, look at the world only. You're looking at the world, right? You're extroverted. You see the mountains, you see the trees, rivers, there's that, everything, all jagmag, jagmag karta hua jagat, I told you. So this twinkling, twinkling world that you see, in that world alone, you now try to see me. And that is the purpose of this chapter 10. It is known as Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti and yoga, two words are used here. Vibhuti is external, what can be seen. So I'm sure some of you are familiar with this Chinmay Vibhuti that Guruji has formed in Pune. What is Chinmay Vibhuti? The Vibhuti of Swami Chinmayananda. So what is Vibhuti? Vibhuti is that which is seen. So in Chinmay Vibhuti, if you visit that ashram, you will see all the schools that he started and all the ashrams and Sandipani Sadhanalaya and this and the books that he wrote and commentaries that he wrote, etc., etc., etc. So all what he did, that is what Vibhutis is the Aishwarya. It is the thing that you see. It is the beads. It is the money. Vibhuti is the money. And Sutra is the yoga, which cannot be seen. That is what yoga means here. Yoga to join, but yoga here means that which cannot be seen, that which is the substratum. Now, the substratum of the Chinmay Vibhuti is what? Chinmay Nanda, no? Gurudev. If Gurudev was not there, what Vibhuti will be there? So, in our case, see, when there is a small child, you give him a banana or whatever, like you explain to him, oh, this has got potassium and you must eat this and so many calories. And for a child, banana is a banana, something to be eaten, or maybe I can use it in counting how many bananas, learning how to count. That's all that child knows. But as that child grows, then he will come to know. So this chapter is meant for that child. So we are not going to explain the nutritive value of it. It is more based on bhakti, this one. You have to have faith in the Lord. If the Lord is saying, I'm in the tree, then okay. So this is what this is meant for, not for the essence. What is the tree, the existence principle? Now that is evolved. It's not a tree. What you're looking at is the existence principle of the Lord. Child doesn't understand that, right? It's hard. Okay, keep looking at the tree. Keep looking at the tree. It's okay. This is what Bhagavan is saying. So yoga is that sthiti. Yoga sthiti is that which I am when I am, which is my relationship with the Lord when I'm alone, when I'm with myself. And vibhuti is that relationship with the Lord when I'm in the world. That's what vibhuti is. So when I am outside in the world and I am seeing all these things and I'm giving total reality to it, how do I relate to that thing? That is what vibhuti is. And yoga is when I'm alone, there is no world, I'm by myself, and now my relationship with my Lord. What is that? That is yoga. Okay, so that is the whole crux of this chapter. We are trying to get a vision of the Lord. That is the whole crux of the entire teaching, vision of the Lord. For those who are evolved in the seat of meditation, they will get the vision, or those who are highly devoted. When I explained chapter 1, there's this little story that I had told, and I'll repeat it now because I'm not sure everybody remembers it. Hopefully nobody, I think. Anyway, there was this one man who used to go to a temple, sit there and start reading the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, and he would come to verse 11. I think it's 11 or 12, somewhere there, where the verse says that now Bhagwan Shri Krishna brought Arjuna's chariot to the battlefield, led by the four white horses. All his horses were white, Arjuna's chariots. And this gentleman would read up to there, start crying, close the book, and go home. And he would come again the next day and he would start again from chapter 1, verse 1, come up to this verse, cry, and then go home. And his chanting was not even perfect. It was there were mistakes. So this went on for about a week, and the priest was observing that this man is coming at the same time and he's reading and then crying and then so he's actually not getting the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, because the teaching starts in chapter 2. So if you just stop within the first 15 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, then what are you learning and what are you doing? And you're not even chanting it properly. So on the seventh day, the priest is very, he's confused. And so he asks the person, he says, what exactly are you doing? You're coming here, you're not chanting it properly. And when you come to this same verse every single day, you start crying and you go home. And you are not getting the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. You're not going into it further. So he says, when I read this verse, it is actually Bhagwan who comes and stands in front of me, gives me his darshan. Now, once I get Bhagwan's darshan, why do I need to go and learn the rest of the Bhagavad Gita? That is vibhuti. That is devotion. That is what this chapter is about. So there he saw if Bhagwan brought the chariot, means actually Bhagwan came. So this thing is, if you actually see the tree, you have to see Bhagwan. If you see the mountain, you have to see Bhagwan. If you see the computer, you have to see Bhagwan. If you see anything, stone, you see Bhagwan. That is this chapter. That is what this chapter is. Okay. So it is going towards devotion now. Because you need devotion. So what? What do you mean? Well, I can't see Bhagwan in a stone. You're telling me in stone. Yeah. Yes. Bhagwan is there in the stone. If you can see Bhagwan in the stone, you got it made. You got it made. Sincerely, if you can see. And that is what this chapter is aiming at. Okay. So we'll start with the first chapter. अथ दशमोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया. The blessed Lord said, Again, O mighty armed, listen to my supreme word, which I, wishing your welfare, will declare to you who are delighted to hear me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. There are three words there, Shri, Bhagavan, and Uvacha. In this, between Shri and Bhagavan, Shri is Vibhuti because Shri is Aishwarya. What is Shri? Shri is Aishwarya. Aishwarya is prosperity, that which you see. So Shri becomes Vibhuti and Bhagavan is Yoga. It is the prosperity, it is the Shri Aishwarya of Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is Yoga Sthiti and Shri is Vibhuti Sthiti. Now Bhagavan Uvacha, Uvacha becomes Vibhuti because it's the speech. When I speak, then you know what any person who speaks, what he is speaking, how he is speaking, how much knowledge he has we will come to know only when the person speaks. So speech is Vibhuti and Bhagavan is Yoga Sthiti. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Shri and Uvacha are Vibhuti, Bhagavan is Yoga Sthiti. Okay. Now, Bhuya again, and here there is no question by Arjuna. In the beginning, so himself he has started now because he recognizes that yes, Arjun may not ask, and he's sure that Arjun has understood chapter 7. Arjun was also quite, by chapter 7, he is also pretty subtle in his thinking, but then not everybody probably have understood it. That is why now Bhagwan is saying, and again, the word again indicates to us that he's not going to tell us something new. Again, I'm telling you, when do we say again? Again, I'm explaining to you this. Maybe I've already explained it once before, and now again, that's why it's starting with the word again. Like we have therefore, right? If I start a sentence, that means there's something in the past must have happened. Therefore, I took an umbrella, or therefore, so something so when again is used, and right in the beginning, it means that I have already explained all this to you, but I'm going to explain it again so that those who are not very much evolved, they will also understand what my true nature is, what my nature is through devotion now. This is through devotion. Because if you analyze the tree, you are not going to see it that way, Bhagwan, right? So that's why. Bhuya eva mahabaho. Mahabaho word we have heard many times. Both Arjuna, Bhagwan has said it for Arjuna, Arjuna has said it for Bhagwan. Mighty armed, mahabaho, mighty armed. To indicate to Arjun, this mahabaho word is used to indicate to Arjun that, Arjun, only the strong can understand this teaching. And strong is mahabaho, though it means mighty armed, physical strength. Here, strength is mental strength. We need a lot of, now how do we get mental strength? Purity of mind. Okay. So purified mind is a strong mind. And a strong mind is one which can discriminate right and wrong. That is a strong mind. A weak mind is, we have seen the Shreya Prayer Vivek many times. So Shreya is what is good for me. Prayer is what is pleasing to my senses. A weak mind will generally go for what is pleasing to my senses. It is the strong mind which can discriminate that, no, this thing is not good for my health, it's not good for me, and will choose the right thing. Will choose the right thing. So Mahabaho, by using this word Mahabaho, Bhagwan is telling Arjun that you are strong. You're a strong-minded. Physically also you're strong. Mentally also you're strong. He had a breakdown in chapter 1, Arjun, but Bhagwan has brought him back. Okay, he is not in that state what he was in chapter 1. This is chapter 10 now. We are in chapter 10. This is Mahabaho. Shruno me, listen to my, listen and hearing, difference. There is a difference. Listening is when you are listening with your heart and mind, and whatever you listen in from both your ears is going into your heart. Hearing is you hear this way and you let it go this way. Ventilation. That's why we have 2 ears, And there are maximum things in this world are meant for listening from, hearing from one ear and letting them out. Most of the time, people are talking about other people, gossiping, this, that. All that should not be listened to. You hear it because you have no choice. Do not start any conversation like that as spiritual seekers, I'm telling you. But we are living in the world. So when people talk to us, it will come, okay, it is their nature. Let them talk. Then use your ears as a ventilation thing. From one ear out the other. But when you're in class and you're listening to a satsang or to Swamiji or whatever, then you listen. That's why I say, Shruno me. What? Listen to me. What should you listen to me? Paramam vachaha, supreme speech. How does a speech become supreme? Speech is speech. Speech becomes supreme because of the material that is being spoken, the theme of that speech. There are 3 kinds of people, they say, in this world. There's one kind which A meets B and starts talking about C and D. So they're talking about other people. Okay. Next level is A meets B and starts talking about politics, weather, a third thing. So it's not a person they're talking about, but they're talking, oh, what is going on in this world and, this war, and they're very worried about this world. Some people are worried about India and some people are worried about this country, and that is the second level. The third kind is when they talk about the supreme truth, about God, about devotion, satsang. And that is what it makes paramam. When the material is paramam, means supreme, we have seen supreme has 2 connotations. One where it is a point of no return and one beyond which there is nothing. So when the material is supreme, then the speech becomes supreme. The lowest kind is when we talk about other people. When the third person is not there and we're talking about the third or any people, when we talk, it is the lowest kind of speech. The second is it doesn't concern any people, but then it's concerning all these, other things, what is going on in the world. Okay. Neutral things, but concern. That is second, bit better than talking about people. But for a spiritual seeker, we must always try to remain in that higher mode of thought. So, but honestly, it is very difficult. Let me tell you, because in my own life, I don't think there is anybody else other than if I talk to the students somewhere in person, in alone, uh, everybody is talking about something else. So what I am noticing in my own personal life is like I am getting more and more isolated because I don't like to get into those kind of conversations anymore. So Paramam Vacha, when he says Paramam Vacha, means the theme of my speech is going to be supreme because I'm going to be talking about the supreme self. And that's why you hear Yatteham. Why am I speaking? Bhagwan cannot just speak because of no reason. And already he has not even asked a question. Some chapters he asked a question. So Bhagwan can say, okay, because you're asking me this question, now let me reply. No, Arjun has not asked anything. He says, Yatteham priyamanaya. What I have noticed is that you're actually liking what I'm speaking. That is one thing that we have to be very careful about, you know. I traveled with a friend of mine last year, and right off the bat, she told me, I'll get bored if you keep talking of Bhagavad Gita, right? Literally, directly. And I said, Bhagavad Gita itself has taught me. Bhagwan himself has said that please do not talk about this to people who have no faith. So I will not be talking about Bhagavad Gita to you. And I honestly did not even know. And then she had all her worries and this, all the solutions I gave her, which was on Bhagavad Gita only. I didn't tell her this is what Bhagavad Gita says. But people don't understand. People don't understand. Okay, they don't understand the importance of this. But here what he's saying is Priyamanaya. Because why he has been enjoying the talk, he has been asking relevant questions. He's not showing boredom. He's not showing, okay, Bhagwan, I understood now, let's go fight. No, he's sitting there quietly, attentively listening, which tells Bhagwan, which tells us also that he's very much liking whatever Bhagwan is saying. So when people like what you talk about, then it's a good thing, and then you can continue that. But that only happens in satsang, in when you're with people, like-minded people. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. And vakshami hitakamaya. So you are liking what I'm saying, and the purpose of my speech. One is you are liking, but the purpose hitakamaya, for your good. Hita is good. For your good. I told you there's Shreya. This is Shreya. Hita is Shreya. It's not that this is my voice is pleasing. I'm not singing for you, like, oh, now you're enjoying the music. Not like that. My speech is for your good. And that is why I am speaking these supreme words, Paramam Vachaha. Now here, we have seen Anubandha Chatushtaya. Those of you who are in the morning class, there's Anubandha Chatushtaya is there. So Anubandha Chatushtaya, four things, Chatushtaya four. So every book has this. One is the Adhikari, the first one, Adhikari. So in this verse, Adhikari means qualified. Who is qualified to listen to this chapter or this text, read this text? Mahabaho. That is the Adhikari. Because he says strong. I told you, a person has to be strong, mentally strong, to absorb this knowledge and then use it. See, there is one thing about understanding, but then it is very difficult to use also sometimes. Okay, because we fall, because the mind is not that same. But anyway, Mahabhav is the Adhikari. Then what is the subject matter of the whatever is being spoken or the book, etc.? Paramam Vachaha. So subject matter is supreme, because Bhagavan said, my speech is going to be supreme, is supreme. So that is the subject matter. Now, what is the purpose? Why there should be some purpose for Bhagavan to speak, right? Is hita kamya. Hita, it is for your good. Why I'm speaking, the purpose of my Paramam Vacha is for your good, and you are qualified to listen to this because you're a mighty armed person, you're a strong person. Now, there has to be a connection between the subject matter and the purpose. Subject matter is Paramam, purpose is good. So the Sambandha is this Priyamanaya, Sambandha. So what is happening is this, you like what I'm speaking. So there is connection. Whatever is being spoken, Arjun is liking it, he's enjoying it, he is listening to it very carefully. So I am speaking. For your good, subject matter is Paramam Vacha, the supreme, and you are qualified. So that's a qualified person, Adhikari, which is Mahabahu. The Vishaya subject matter is Paramam Vacha. The purpose is hita, good, for the good of the person. And then what is the connection? The subject matter and the adhikari. Adhikari loves the subject matter. That is the connection. I love the subject matter, so I want to hear it. Because my purpose, see, in material world, why am I studying a grade 5 math book? Because I want to go to grade 6. And why am I an adhikari of grade 5? Because I've passed grade 4. That is how it works. Okay. So here it is, this is the Anubandha Chatushtaya. All right. Next, any questions on this one? Next. Name vidusura ganaha prabhavam na maharshayah ahamadirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Neither the hosts of the heavens nor the great rishis know my origin, for in every way I am the source of all the devas and the rishis. So he's himself explaining, why am I telling you this? Because please understand, and why Mahabhava is strong, because this is not an easy subject matter to understand. I am not that easy to be understood. Okay. So even the devas and the hosts of the heavens means devas, the deities. So these powerful deities, we have Indra, we have Varuna, we have all the sun god is there, moon god is there. All these deities, he says, even they cannot understand me. And the reason that they cannot understand me is because I am their source. The most simple example that Gurudev has given is flashlight and the batteries. So we have a flashlight which is illuminating everything else in the room, but its own batteries, which is the source of that light, it cannot illumine. That is the idea. So devas, why don't devas understand? Because I'm their source. The same thing with us. We have to become introverted. We are so extroverted. That's why it's very hard for us to understand that essence. That's why he's now starting chapter 10 to explain, okay, you're extroverted, you keep looking outside. Now, outside also you find me. That's the purpose of this chapter. So devas and rishis are the ones who are, for whom the mantras were revealed, Vedic mantras. So rishis are saints. There is a whole list that Gurudev has given here, Bhrigu, Marichi and all that. But idea is the rishis counted from Bhrigu to Vashishta are 7 in number. So anyway, it's objectively speaking, devas are the deities of the heavens, Indra, Varuna, etc., etc. And rishis are these people. And for them also, it is very, very difficult to understand. Now, here we should also look at the subjective meaning. So the devas represent the sense organs for us in our body. Why, I'll tell you. What are we doing? See, what is a Deva? Indra, they offer, right? Even sun god, we pray to the sun god, right? We pray, we give offerings. So these sense organs are our deities because we keep offering them, right? My eyes like color and form. So I offer color and form into the eyes. I offer smell into the nose, sound into the ears, taste into the mouth, touch for the skin. So I'm offering all these oblations, I'm offering into the sense organs. And that's why subjectively, when it is said devas don't understand me, what Bhagwan means is sense organs cannot understand me because I am their source, which means that the senses cannot, means through the body, you can never understand what God really is. That is the meaning here. And rishis is the mind. Mind is the king of the senses. So not only that the senses cannot understand me, the king of the senses also cannot understand me. Those of you who have studied Kenopanishad with me, there is the story where that Yaksha comes and then first fire goes and fire god goes and then, air Varuna god goes and they cannot do anything. The Yaksha says there is a blade of grass. Does anyone know the story? So the Deva, once upon a time, Devas and Asuras, they had a fight. Devas won. So Devas were partying, they were celebrating, and they had that arrogance that we won. Indra, king of the gods, see, because of all our valor. So Bhagwan doesn't like arrogance. Where did we read that? Narad Bhakti Sutra. That's where it comes. So nothing that I'm telling you that I've not told you before. That's why again, Bhagwan doesn't like arrogance. So what happens is, there is one beautiful person, Yaksha, comes and stands outside. So the guards come and tell these people are partying. He says, there's somebody standing out there. Really? Oh, fire god, go. Indra orders. Indra is the king. Fire goes. Who are you? Fire says, arrogant, huh? Arrogance. he says, who are you? Tell me first. He says, me. I am fire god. I can burn anything in this world. That is my prowess. He says, yeah, really? He picks up a blade of grass. Yaksha. He says, okay, burn this blade of grass. And fire can't do it. So fire comes back. He says, you know what? I don't know. He says, air, go, go. He says, yeah. Wind god, the wind god. So wind god goes, who are you? He says, you tell me first who you are. Yaksha says, I am the wind. I can blow anything from the surface of this earth. Really? There's this blade of grass. Can you blow this blade of grass? Nothing. He blows wind goes very fast, but the blade of grass doesn't move. Wind god comes back. Then Indra says, oh, something is not right. So Indra says, I better go see who this Yaksha is. But when he goes back, Uma is standing there. And Indra then says, tell me who you really are. And then she gives him the knowledge and he understands. So the idea is the mind only when it gives up its arrogance as mind, when it gives, because Indra surrenders, Indra realizes. The other gods don't realize, other deities do not realize. Okay. So when we give up our impurities, when we give up our arrogance, our ego, when the ego melts, God will be understood. But that is the very, very difficult part to do. So here, so this is what is meant by devas and externally, objectively, yes, you can see it, the devas and rishis, but subjectively we need to understand this, that we can never understand God in his true essence through the senses. Like if you want to see God, no, you can't. If you want to smell, taste, touch, no. Mind also cannot understand it. Okay, understand the supreme reality. All right, next. Yo mamajamanadim cha veti lokamaheshwaram assam samarteshu sarva papai pramuchate. He who amongst the mortals knows me as unborn and beginningless, as the great Lord of the worlds, he is undeluded and is liberated from all sense. So if devas and rishis cannot understand you, then who exactly can understand you? So what he says is, asammudaha samarteshu, line 2. So marteshu, mortals. Among the mortals, among us living beings, and here mortals should be taken only as human beings, not animals, because they don't have that subtle intellect. So among the, because animal also is mortal only, it's going to die, but here mortals is to be understood as human beings. One who is sammuda, deluded, asammuda, non-deluded. What is delusion? Simply put, delusion is wrong thinking. And what is wrong thinking? Wrong thinking is to give reality to the projection. See, we have studied or we have mentioned there are these two gunas, rajas and tamas. Okay, how is superimposition happening? Because we have studied superimposition in the morning class, some of us. Superimposition happens because the actual thing is veiled, and not only that it is veiled, then I'm also projecting something on it. We have heard the rope and snake example many, many times. So I walk into a room which is not very well lit, and there is actually a rope in the corner, but I do that it is not like completely not seen, because if I wouldn't see the rope at all, there's no question of superimposition. There's nothing there, I'll say. But it's twilight. It's like not complete dark, not complete light. So I see something coiled in the corner and I superimpose. I project. The reality is rope, but now I have projected a snake and I am afraid because that projection is given reality. The one who gives reality to that projection is a sammudaha, is deluded. And what is happening? Now, rope and snake is only an example. What is actually happening in the world is that I am giving this world Ishvara Srishti. It is created by Ishvara. This point also I've told you many times. There is Ishvara Srishti and there is Jiva Srishti. There are two Srishtis. Srishti's creations. One is created by Ishvara. If anything is created by Ishvara, Ishvara is perfect. His creation has to be perfect. It has to be. There is no ifs and buts about that. Now what is happening is on this Ishvara Srishti, which is actually perfect, I have projected. And what do I project? I project my likes and dislikes. So now it's raining today in Vancouver. Now I project my dislike about rain, this thing, because now I can't go for a walk, or I have to take an umbrella, or I'll get wet, and now this is what I projected. Is not rain necessary for us? Can we live without rain throughout our life? It is source of life. Rain is a source of life. So the actual reality is that rain is needed, but now I have that projection I have given reality also. I have God, now I'm phoning tell me, oh man, it is raining and now I can't go for a walk and da 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 and da da da. What does it mean that I'm giving reality? It means I will keep on mulling it in my mind, talking, oh, you know what? It was raining today. So I go, oh, anybody that I speak to, 100 people, I'm going to tell you it was raining. That is projection. To give reality to that projection is sammodaha. When I stop giving reality to it, I become a sammodaha, undeluded. So what should be, as a spiritual seeker, okay, we are not completely ignorant, we are not realized. So as a spiritual seeker, what should happen? Oh, it's raining. Okay, fine. I'll wear my boots and I'll take my raincoat, or I'll take my umbrella. Finish. End. Full stop. If I can do that at this stage, that is asammoda. Otherwise, I'm going on projecting, giving reality to the projection. That is, when I give reality, it is that I'm doing it with the world. Rope and snake is only an example. But in the world, this is not an example. This is what is actually happening. So not only that, just the rain is simple example. When somebody says something to me, I give reality because why? I don't like what that person said. So now I'm hurt. Do I get hurt if somebody says, oh, you look so nice, your clothes are looking so nice today? Do I get hurt? I don't. Even that is a projection, because I like when people say good things about me. I don't like when people say bad things about me, but that is how it is. So asammudha samarteshu, he will understand mam jamnadi chaveti. I have no birth and no death. What is a manifestation of this? I have no birth. How as a spiritual seeker, how do I understand this? Or how does it have to manifest in my life? Is there should be no fear of death, because there is nothing like death. That is to be understood. The soul is eternal and the body gets recycled. It is easier said than done. But when 90 years, just we had old mission member, 90 plus. There's nothing to be sad about. It makes us sad if there is a young death. I totally understand. But even in that, we must understand that the soul has decided to leave the body. Chapter 2. So means he's saying, I don't have birth and death. And the understanding should be that I am that. I am considering myself to be the body. That's why I'm afraid of death. I'm afraid of dying. Even though I keep on suffering in this body, it's okay, keep suffering. I don't want to leave and go. So it is, see, even we know that he is without birth and without death, okay? That is not what is meant here. When he says veti, knows, here knowing means realizing. Please understand, knowing is a verb, okay? I know that Bhagwan is unborn and it does beginningless and endless. That is knowing, okay? When I come to realize that what I am is that realize. So here knowing should not be taken. Veti is not a verb. It is realizing yourself to be that supreme self. So don't think, because then all our sarva papai pramuchate prakarshena muchate. All means even now all our sins should be washed away. Are they going to get washed away? No. We only objectively have this information. I'm not even calling it knowledge. I only am calling it information that Bhagwan is beginningless and endless. But I am afraid of death. I am afraid of disease. I am afraid of every little thing. I am afraid. My cousin was here. He said he's afraid of what will happen to India. Are Baba, so many years never anything happened. So why are you worried? "Yeah, I'm not worried about myself." I said, you're not worried about you dying. Why are you worried about wrong things? Worry about yourself, I said. Worry about your next life. You are in the evening of your life. He's 80 plus, my cousin, right? So he said, I'm not worried about myself, but I'm worried about India. I said, you're worrying about the wrong things. And what you're worried about India, what exactly can you do about India? You're living in England, huh? Aram se. What are you going to do about India? So see what will happen to your next life. So people have these wrong ideas of worrying and they think they're so great. I'm worried. I'm so worried about India. No point. So this Veti, please understand, knowing one who realizes himself to be that supreme self, to be himself, to be beginningless and deathless. That's why we keep celebrating birthdays, but and then I keep forgetting everybody's birthday. Then they feel hurt that she never. Are Baba, I don't remember my own anyway. So this Veti, please, what happens to Sarva Papai Pramuchate, Prakarshena Mucha means extremely all the sins. Now, what is sin? What does he mean, Sarva Papai? See, Papa, sin, demerit. The first one definition of sin, meaning of sin, is when I go against the Dharma Shastra. What is Dharma Shastra? There is this divine constitution, right? The Vedas, which give us the injunctions of do's and don'ts. Very simply put, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not hurt anybody. All the injunctions are there. So the first level of sin is if I don't follow that. So the first thing that I must be doing is following those injunctions to a T. Okay, that is, otherwise it is papa. What is sin? What is sin? Okay, so that I must follow. That is number one. Now what happens is, as a spiritual seeker, we know that and we are following that. Now a little bit of arrogance creeps in, right? Oh, me, I get up same time in the morning. I do my studies. I am, it's very subtle. We have to be very careful. Therefore, we have to really, really watch ourselves. So what happens is that I am following. I'm doing good. Huh? I'm following all this thing, but that is giving me doership. Like I follow all the rules. I do this, and I am so sincere, and I this thing. So the next level of sin, what happens is and how do I know that I have doership? What is the manifestation of because I can say, no, I have no doership. If there is anything that I do in the outside world, and if it leaves an impression of either vanity or guilt. So I'm doing good. So see me, every day, same time I wake up. Every day, same time I go to sleep. I don't watch TV too much. I do my stuff. So that vanity, that impression, if it is being formed, it is sin. You're doing good, outside you're doing good. But or sometimes mistake happens. You forget. Even prescription tablets, sometimes I've forgotten. Then there's a, oh, I forgot. So again, an impression is being created. So creation of that impression, whether it is of vanity for doing good or it is guilt for doing wrong, that becomes a sin. And wrong means we are not doing anything wrong. Like we didn't go cheat somebody or steal something or something. Okay, because that we have already followed. We are following that. Dharma Shastra we are following. But wrong in this sense, I forgot something, or I forgot to call somebody, or maybe I forgot to pay the bill, or maybe some little things like that, which is really not hurting anybody else, it's just hurting. But now it's a constant guilt. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I slept in. My alarm, what did I forgot to put my alarm. I forgot to put. So that sort of again and again, that feeling of guilt when it is there, it creates an impression. Gurudev used to give the example of that records we used to have, right? Previously, I don't know how many of you know, long playing LP records, right? And the needle will go this thing. So the grooves are there, right? In the grooves, the needle used to move in a circular motion and the music is heard. So he would say, like for us, when we go through the same thing, you see how good I did, see how good I did. See, so that needle is moving through that same groove and the groove is deepening. And that's how the impression is getting formed for us. That is how, again and again, that's why we have the saying, neki kar or koi medal. You do good, let go. Never bring it up again. Even in your own mind, don't. There's a story actually of Narad Bhagwan. Oh, it'll come in the, I think in the same chat it'll come. So it's okay. So idea is, so that the doership and enjoyership itself is now becoming sin. Okay. The final sarva papai pramuchate is when I come to recognize myself to be that supreme self. So the ego itself is squashed. There is no ego because the doership and the enjoyership, they belong to the ego. They do not belong to the supreme self. Okay. So the stronger the ego is, the stronger is the doership. As spiritual seekers, that's why karma yoga is recommended, so that that ego neutralizes more and more. It thins out. It liquefies. So the more liquid that ego is, the more shrunk it is, there will be less doership. There will be less enjoyership. So we are studying, and then that itself, when it sort of gives us arrogance or ego, then that is not good. That is also pap at that level. And we are not doing anything wrong. Okay. All right. So sarva papai pramuchate, when he says, he's talking of the third level, which is what? Which is recognition of, that is what is the first line is, that when I recognize, when this us, and who can recognize, who is the adhikari for, is asammuda, and who is an asammuda is one who is not giving reality to his or her projections. He understands this is Ishvara Srishti, this is meant for the best, for the good of the world. He understands that if he can do something about it. Okay, so if there is a war going on, if you can help the Red Cross, or if you can help these doctors, or whatever, you can help, whatever is within your power, you do. But don't be worried about those things, because then you've given reality to it. So whatever is in your power, you do. Once you stop giving reality to the projections, it indicates that the mind is getting purer. In that pure mind, this knowledge will arise easily. Veti, knowing, is realization. It is not objective knowing. We all know now that Bhagwan is beginningless and endless. We all know that. Okay. Doesn't mean anything at all. Doesn't mean anything at all. Unless in your own mind, you can be honest and say that I'm really not scared of death. Otherwise, it has no meaning. It has absolutely no meaning. But we need that information to, do manana. So when that happens, then sarva papa. And papa, at one level, it is not following the injunctions. Then we follow the injunctions. But that itself, following, is giving us doership and enjoyship, creating an impression. At our level, just creating an impression for the next birth is papa. Because your next birth, you're making sure that there's going to be a next birth. And the whole purpose of this teaching is to avoid that. So that is, and then prakarshena muchate means when you realize God. That is how all these papas will be reduced. We have to lead our life by having control over our senses, ourselves. Okay, all right. Now, 4 and 5, we are going to read together. They are like a continuation, because the verse number 4 doesn't even have a verb, so it really will not make sense on its own. So 4 and 5 we read together and we explain together as well. Buddhir jnanam sammohaha kshama satyam dama shamaha sukham dukkham bhavo bhavaha bhayam cha bhayameva cha ahimsa samata tushtihi tapodanam yasho yashah bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva prathak vidhaha. intellect, wisdom, non-illusion, forgiveness, truth, self-restraint, calmness, happiness, pain, birth or death, fear and also fearlessness, non-injury, equanimity, contentment, austerity, beneficence, fame, infamy, all these different kinds of qualities of beings arise from me alone. So arise from me alone is applying to both verses, and that's why they are together. That now it forms a full sentence, because now this arise from me, the verb is there, and that is the purpose of his saying. So he has given a whole bunch of qualities, virtues. Some of them are virtues, some of them are qualities. And he says that everything is coming from me. And the reason that he's saying everything is coming from me is because when we go further into the chapter, he's going to be referring to things outside, right? I told you, he's going to say among the trees, among the mountains, among the Pandavas, among the rivers, among the, yajnas, among the Vedas, all this, among this, I'm this, among this, I'm this. So idea is everything has come from him. And so no matter what you look at, you must reach him. That is the idea. That is the whole idea. Okay. So here he's giving these qualities. Let's start with buddhi. The first is buddhi, jnana, and asammoha. It is not sammoha. It is buddhi, jnanam, asammoha. That is a break of that first word of verse 4. Buddhi, intellect. Intellect is of three kinds: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. So the sattvic intellect is the one which has got the power of discrimination. See, there is a Shreya Preya Vivek that we talked about, right? What is good for me, what is pleasing to my eyes or my senses. So the sattvic intellect will be able to judge that. I've given you this example many, many times. There is a diabetic and there is some sweets there. Now, what is good for me? I shouldn't be eating the sweets, right? What is pleasing to my taste? Oh, rasmalai, I love that. That's my favorite dish. Now, a sattvic intellect will be able to say, no, this is not good for me, and will also have the power to refuse it. A weak mind is going to go eat it. Once only, now I got a chance, no, tomorrow, definitely next whole week, now I'm not going to eat sugar, but let me eat it today. Does this sound familiar? So, sattvic buddhi is that which will make what is a correct decision? Correct decision, if there's a person who doesn't have any diabetes, it's a small child, that's fine. That is correct for him or her, right? So sattvic buddhi is that, intellect is that, which can discriminate correctly. Because first problem is discrimination. That is where our problem is. We cannot discriminate. We are unable to discriminate between good and pleasing. And then we go for the pleasing. And that is downfall. Downfall means not like bad way, but for us, like if it's a patient, diabetic patient, then of course the sugar is going to be haywire that way. Okay. So there's a whole lot in this thing. So we will stop here. Are there any questions? 40 already, 5 more minutes. But maybe I can do, okay. So buddhi, like I said, sattvic. So sattvic buddhi is that one. Then there is a rajasic buddhi. And rajasic buddhi is one which is confused, muddled. That is the one that says that only once it's okay. What is there? They haven't put too much sugar in it, or what? It'll go for the pleasing part, because rajas is all about pleasing the senses. When I try to, go out and I want to enjoy and I want to this, that is coming out of predominance of rajas. So when the buddhi is also under the rajasic influence, it will be gearing towards enjoyment, not towards what is good for me. What happens with enjoyment, I'll tell you, there is only like a few seconds of enjoyment that you'll have, but the result is long term. You know what is bitter in the beginning is actually better at the end. Like at that moment, if I can resist that temptation, actually it will give me good results in the long term. But the Rajasic Buddhi doesn't understand that. Sattvic Buddhi will understand that. It's okay right now, only for this few seconds, because, if it is eating is just a few seconds of enjoyment of taste, it's going to take my, blood sugar high, right? So let me let go of this few seconds and I'll be okay. Just avoid that temptation at that moment, but long-term result will be good. Long-term result will be. That is what the Sattvic Buddhi determines. Rajasic is the one that is confused. Tamasic is one that doesn't even know anything. Tamas is darkness. Okay? All right. We will stop here. We will start next Sunday from this verse onwards. Any questions? All good? Everybody is good with the timing? Timing is okay for everybody? Okay. Okay. All right. Good. All right. So we'll stop here. So our Tripti ji can run in for the Ganesh Puja. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशो यं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ओम सर्वेषां स्वस्ति भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेव शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम. Okay, I shall see some of you tomorrow, Monday, and then Friday, and then next Sunday we have this class at 8:45. Okay. All right. Hari Om, everybody.
Hariom.
Hari Om.